Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and transgenders of all ages, we welcome you back to the DynastyDicks podcast, where your favorite dick of Dynasty is back in the mix. It is a snowed-in Sunday. At least we have football, and hopefully everybody on the Midwest, the East Coast, is doing well. I hope you haven't lost any power like some of us. I hope you're staying warm. You got your heaters on, and you're enjoying your lazy Sunday. I wanted to start the podcast and get things going. Very, very happy to announce that the DynastyDicks has actually got their fantasy leagues back together. I've recreated some of the leagues that I had in the past, and I'm very, very excited for those. I thought I was done being a commissioner. I thought I was just done. Commission is a lot of work. It's a lot of stress. But after jumping back into the mix, into fantasy sports, you quickly find out that there's a lot of leagues out there and a lot of commissioners that just suck, that aren't run correctly, and I just kind of got fed up with it. So I wanted to go ahead and start my own, and I'm very happy to say that the HOD, the Hall of Deferrals, is launched. We are full. We're getting our payments in, and we're going to be drafting pretty soon. But let's go ahead and get into first down. I've got the link out there if anybody wants to join. The more the merrier. But let's go ahead and start talking about some news that's around the world of sports. So we got Major League Baseball free agency. The Dodgers, the Mets, the Jays, the Rangers. Hey, the Pirates. Hey, the Marlins. They signed a closer. About time the Marlins spent some money. I think they only got $90 million of payroll for the entire team. That's the problem with baseball. $90 million for the Marlins, for the White Sox. Man, I love the White Sox jerseys. I really do love the White Sox jerseys. Those jerseys are sick, but too bad. Too bad for those fans. Just sell the team, man. Sell the team. You're in Chicago. That's a big market. You should be able to put some money, do something. But the Dodgers confirmed that they signed Kyle Tucker 4 years for $240 million. Kind of shocked a lot of people of how much money he got. It didn't shock me. As a Dodger fan, I knew that if Kyle Tucker was going to be taking a lower, shorter term contract with a high AVV, and you're deciding between the Mets and the Dodgers, it's a pretty easy choice. You're choosing the Dodgers. You get to bat in that lineup. And I thought the Dodgers only want you for a year. Just for a year. You can come in, produce, opt out, and then go get the $400 million that you wanted for 10 plus years. But the Dodgers actually got him. They're going to have him for 2 years, and then they get the opt out. 2 years with Kyle Tucker. The Mets probably were a little upset. The owner was a little upset that he didn't get what he wanted. Have done a lot of different moves. The Mets go ahead and trade for Freddie Peralta. They got Big Bo Bichette. Now I know at the end of the season they said they wanted to make sure they could upgrade on run prevention and starting pitching. So it's about time they got a starting pitcher. But they got a lot of players that are going to be playing out of position. Bo Bichette at third, Polanco at first, Beatty at left. Luis Robert, I love Luis Robert. We'll see if he can bounce back to maybe the injury bug's not going to be biting him so much now that he's in New York. Maybe he actually can put a healthy season out there and do what we've all seen him do before. The Blue Jays have been active. Dylan Cease. They got the Japanese first baseman. They signed Tyler Rogers, Cody Ponce, a KBO stud that hasn't pitched in the major leagues in quite a while. That'll be interesting to see what he does. And they picked up Shane Bieber's $16 million option. The Mets also got Devin Williams. And poor Blue Jays. They thought they were going to get Ohtani. They said Ohtani is on an airplane going to Toronto. That was false. They wanted to get Roki Sasaki. That didn't happen either. And then they wanted to get Kyle Tucker. That didn't happen either. Oh, feel bad for the Blue Jays, but the Blue Jays are going to be there, going to be back. So go Blue Jays. I hope to see a rematch for Blue Jays Dodgers World Series. I think everybody does. I think the Dodgers are bad for baseball. At least no, but I don't. I think between the Yankees and the Blue Jays World Series, nobody watched more for that World Series. So it's good to have a villain. Dodgers are the villain. And I guess, that's your fault. Yes, that's your fault. Spending all that money, going to choke in the first round. Your fault. I remember seeing that. I remember seeing, spending all that money just to choke. And now it's turned into, we're ruining baseball. Good. It's a good time to be a Dodger fan. It's a golden era of Dodger baseball. Doesn't get much better than this. Who knows what's going to happen with the lockout? People saying that there's going to be no more baseball. Hey, that's why we go in this last year. Let's get the three-peat. And then let's watch the world cry. But let's go ahead and go into second down. Some of the fantasy deep dive of what kind of goes on when you're creating a dynasty league. Filling a dynasty league. It's hard. You can't just post an ad and then just hope you get people to join. I see a lot of people posting ads. Hey, we're starting a draft in 30 minutes. Who wants to play? I don't want to join that league. Hey, I push it back 30 minutes. We need 10 more. Nah, I don't want to join that league. You already drafting. What about payments? What about the rules? And you didn't even advertise if it's a points league, it's a categories league, is this a roto league? So you gotta pick and choose. You gotta be cautious out there what leagues you join, because there's a lot of red flags from commissioners out there. There's a lot of red flags from owners that join your leagues. A lot of red flags. But some of the do's and don'ts of commissioners: you don't change the scoring after the draft. You don't up the salary cap or lower the salary cap after the draft. You don't do that. If that happened to me in any league, it's immediate. I'm quitting. Give me my refund. This is ridiculous. You don't change certain things. There's rules for a reason. You have to abide by those rules. Commissioners are running a business. This is a business. The owners in the league are my clients. So, I got to make sure as a commissioner that certain things get done. You're going to have owners in the chat, in the league. Let's go ahead and start the draft. Go ahead and start the draft. And some commissioners, a lot of commissioners in other leagues, fuck it, let's start the draft. Let's go ahead. Let's start the draft. And then you start the draft. And then all the payments aren't in. And then maybe an owner goes MIA. Where's this owner at? We're in the fourth round. Now you post an ad on Facebook. We're in the fourth round. It's your pick. I need a replacement. I'll give you a discount. And then that same person that said, hey, let's start the draft, will probably saying, well, you should have got payments before you started the draft. And don't listen to people. You have a job to do. There's a lot of owners in your league that's already paid. Props to those owners that are getting it done, handling up on their business. But don't fall in the trap of doing something you shouldn't. Still plenty of time until baseball starts. Plenty of time to get the draft going. Just make sure make sure shit's in order before you draft. And if you can't pay, then say you can't pay. Get with your commissioner. Hey, I can pay this week. I can do this. I could do that. I'm really invested. I really want to play. You can count on me. Let me give you at least half right now. Yada yada. Just communication's good. Because some people. I've been in those situations where, fuck, I can't really pay right now. I just can't. And we're going through a snowstorm right now. There's a snowstorm going on. I'm not real too worried about getting on people for paying today. It's a snowstorm. Who knows what you got going on? You might be messing with the generator all day. But good thing we got football. Football is going to be great. Oh, and another thing, when slow drafts happen. Now, slow drafts are slow drafts for a reason. Yes. It's going to, everybody lives a different lifestyle. Everybody's in different time zones. You got people on the other side of the planet. It's a slow draft for a reason. And slow drafts are cool because you can make trades. You can work trades. You can move up. You can move down. And there's always going to be those couple of the owners that are just going to be complaining. Oh, the pain, the misery. It's been 3 hours. Bro, go shovel some snow. Do something. Go shovel some snow. Oh, I got a referral link. We got people in the chat. I can't even see it because my phone is. But welcome in, everybody. If you want to join the podcast, please join. You can click the link that I posted, jump on the pod, and we can go from there. But let me go ahead and get my notes out. We're going to be jumping into the bylaws. So I wanted to do this pod to kind of go over the bylaws because it's a real simple league. It's not as complicated as it sounds. The bylaws get crazy, but the rules are there to make sure, shit's right. So the Hall of Deferrals. Our purpose and philosophy, the Hall of Deferrals, HOD, is designed to simulate a real front office experience. The league emphasizes long-term planning, contract, salary management, and risk-taking. Yes, let's get the league structure. The structure is it's 28 franchises divided into 2 divisions of 14 team each. So it's a 2-copy system. Each division acts on its own, has its own player pool, and it acts independently. It has its own playoffs, its own payouts, its own player pool, its own everything. So just 2 separate leagues under one umbrella. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. The active lineup, we got 1 catcher. I'm sure you can all read that. We got 1 first baseman, 1 second baseman, a shortstop, a third baseman, 1 center infielder, 1 corner infielder, 1 middle infielder, 5 outfielders, 3 utilities, and 10 pitchers. Some said, why don't you have any relief pitchers in there? I'm not going to tell you how to build your pitching staff. There's 10 pitchers. You want 10 closers? Go for 10 closers. You want 10 starting pitchers? Go for 10 starting pitchers. But the way that the scoring is set, you will see that if there is going to be a lot of players or owners hoarding starting pitching, holds and saves is a theme in this league. So high leverage relievers are going to be getting you points. I know for a fact I would love to get Diaz as my closer. I think Tanner Scott is going to have a bounce back year. He doesn't have to be the closer. He doesn't have to. He's going to be the setup man, high leverage. Timmy Trumpets is going to have all the pressure or taking the pressure off of Mr. Scott. So we see the scoring. People ask, why do you have walks is 2 points? Is more than a single. I like walks. Walks is that we don't have on base percentage here. We don't have average on here. There's no WOBA, which I wanted. Just because it's points. And the Fantrax support group said those particular cats are just mainly for roto or for category leagues. You can add it there, but when I did, the points scoring system was just jacked. I don't know if you all remember. Some players were scoring 5,000 points, which just it wasn't correct. So came back down to earth, and this is what we're going with. But the walks, that's going to help some on base percentage. So your on base percentage guys are going to be rewarded, and the walks are going to help some of the strikeout monsters, your home run hitters that are hitting a lot of strikeouts. The walks is going to kind of help, because they're going to get walked. They're going to get intentionally walked. They're not going to get pitched to. They're going to get some walks. So the scoring is pretty self-explanatory. Now the rookie drafts in the future, they're going to be 5 rounds. Now, right now we have 15 minor slots. Now, next year we're going to grow 5. So we'll be at 20 slots next year, and then 25, and then it's going to cap at 30. And then during the rookie drafts, you will be able to draft every rookie that you have. If you've got 40 rookie draft picks, I don't recommend you do that, but if you did, you'd be able to draft all your rookies, and then you would have a 4-week period where you can make room to roster your rookies, sign, get under the cap if you have to, whatever the case may be. But if you cannot get under the cap or have the roster space in that time, then, they go back to the free agent waiver wire. There'll be a salary scale for these rookies, from $5 million all the way down to $300,000. So you're going to see those 5th round rookie picks are going to be quite valuable. I mean, if you can hit on a 5th rounder, Major League Baseball player or teams hit on 15th rounders, 30th rounders. So if you know how to draft and you could be patient, you can get some draft day steals that are 300,000. And then once you move them up, remember, you can move them up and down. It's like a minor league team. It's like the G League. You know what I mean? You can move them up, you can move them down. But once they hit 150 at bats or 50 innings pitch, then they have graduated, right? They're ready for the show. So you have to bring them up if you don't have the cap space, because they're going to count when you move them up. Then you're going to have to make some decisions. But they would still be 300,000 on their very first year. And that's going to be solid. If you got, just imagine if you had, I don't know, the athletic first baseman, DH Kuntz. If that's what his name is, Kuntz, it's going to be his name for today, Kuntz. Imagine you had him on a, $3 million deal for the next 3 years. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. It's not like having Judge, who's going to be 40 million for the next 3 years. I'll take Kuntz, Kantz, whatever his name is. So let's go to the startup draft. So it's going to be 55 rounds. It's going to be a slow draft, and it's going to include everybody. The veterans, the prospects, international players that have been signed will be there. And the hard cap is going to be live. So owners must stay under the 500 million limit at all times. Okay. The Fantrax system will count. We'll keep up with that. It's going to show you what your cap is, yada, yada. So it's not like you've got to have your calculator out and keeping track like that. Like it's going to do it. But I want everybody to know that the minors will count toward your salary throughout the draft. It's just a better way to protect owners, to make sure that we can finish the draft. And then once we finish the draft, the minors will be taken off of the salary cap, right? That ones that are on your minor squad. And that's going to free up cap that'll allow you to bring, the minors up and down. You're not going to have to cut anybody and put yourself into cap penalties. It's just going to be better. But everybody needs to understand that everything's going to count. And afterwards, that will change. And then you're going to have a whole lot of cap freed up. Because the players on the site, at least the ones that are minor eligible, look to be 4 million, 5 million, something around those or less. We're going to have free agent auction drafts. So in the future, next year, after the rookie draft, closer to spring training, maybe in spring training, we're going to have the auction draft. So if you've got cap, if you got money, all the leftover free agents and anything on the waiver wire is going to be up for sale. Now you're going to see some owners spend way too much money on somebody. Maybe not. Maybe we're going to have a very stingy owner group that understands, we're not going to get give these guys a lot of money. But if you got the cap, you can spend freely, but teams are going to fuck themselves. And that's, hey, go ahead and fuck yourself. So we have a deferral system, which I think is pretty cool. That came from our old league, where if you need an extra $5 million in salary, you can pay $5, and I'll up your salary. If you want an extra $10 million in salary, you're trying to go for it, or you got a rookie that you want to bring up and you don't want to make any cuts, you could pay $15 and get $10 million extra in salary. It's just going to be for that year. It doesn't carry over. It's just going to be for that year. If you want $20 million in extra salary, it's $25. $30 million in salary is $35. You can also purchase franchise tags. So when you have a contract, remember, contracts are all 3 years. They're all the same. It's all the same price for 3 years. So if a player is $20 million for 3 years, and on his second year, in the middle of the second year, close to our trade deadline, the Major League Baseball trade deadline, I will run new values. So let's say you got Yamamoto, right? And he was $20 million, for example. And now he's already had a Cy Young, which is this year. He's in the middle of next year, and he's just the greatest pitcher on the planet. And now his new contract is $40 million, for example. So you can be like, okay, well, I'm not going to resign him. I ain't got the money. Who knows? Let's say you don't resign him. Sure. Then you're going to keep him for his 3 years. You still got him next year at the $20 million. And now he's going to fall up, but you say, you know what? Let me put a franchise tag on him. We're going to do the average of the top 4, I believe, at the position, or 120% more for his salary. So whichever is higher. So he may come in cheaper at that point. Who knows? Maybe he won't. But if you did want to keep him, you can buy a franchise tag. And you can buy another franchise tag, but that's going to cost you $35 instead of the $15. And I don't want to confuse people. I'm probably going to confuse people on here, but that's okay. Also, something I added in that I thought was cool, because we want to get money in. This is the deferrals. The money goes in. And just like in the Major League Baseball, all that extra money that goes in, that goes to, it's spread out amongst the teams, but it also goes to the players' retirement accounts, which is great. But in our league, it's going to go right back to us. Well, the top 6 in each division will be getting this money back. So that's going to spread out. So that could, a lot of this money could pay for everybody's entry fee, for the next year. So keep putting that money. But I thought the amnesty provision, which is a one-time penalty-free contract wipe, $40. Let's go ahead and put $40 in, and you can take a contract that you drastically fucked up in the auction draft, and you signed somebody for $40 million. The third baseman. I forgot that third baseman that's signed with. Fuck, where'd he sign? The Japanese third baseman. I don't know. But let's just say you made a horrible deal. You got this contract that nobody wants. You cannot trade him. You don't want to drop him. because you're going to have to pay all that salary and that penalty. So you could pay $40 for a one-time penalty. Amnesty. I don't like to do bailouts, but hey, you're putting $40 into the pot. You know. And that might make owners even take bigger risks because they know, hey, I can just pay $40 and I get this guy off my roster. Hey, whatever. However, you can build your legacy or you can bury your team. However you want to go. Yes, but the franchise tag can only be applied to players with expiring contracts. Right, so the end of year 3 or the year of year of 6 and the end of year 6. Now, the way these contracts work, maybe after year 3, after year 2, I mean, there's always going to be people in the auction, always. But after, I know it takes a while to get there, but some salary contract leagues, you can sign players for 5 years, 6 years, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years. This is just the same contract, 3 years, right? But you can only keep the player for 6 years total. I don't care if you trade him. The other person gets him on a 5th year. You only get to keep him for 5th and 6th, right? After that, he falls off into the free agent. So after year 6, literally, like everybody in this startup draft, more or less, is to be a free agent. Just imagine what that auction is. And then the next year after that, there's going to be a whole the free agent auction drafts are going to be lit once we get to that point. They're going to be lit already. They're going to be fun. Auction drafts are fun. If you got the money, you can swoop in and make a big signing like the Dodgers. You can overpay for a Kyle Tucker, $60 million a year. You want to do that? Funny thing about the Kyle Tucker contract, you could take Kyle Tucker's contract, Bo Bichette, as well as Ohtani, and I think they're getting paid a total of $4 million this year. A total. I don't know who's coming up with these contract deals, if it's the team's accounting department or if it's the agent and the player. But Kyle Tucker's getting $54 million check and signing bonus sent to Florida, no state tax, avoiding that tax to California before he even plays spring training. Just something that's quite nice. How do I come up with the salaries? So I don't come up with the salaries. I plug in the scoring, the roster size, the teams, and Fantrax automatically does that based on all their projections, current stats, past stats, position scarcity, all that kind of stuff. Fantrax does. So that's nice. In my old basketball league, I would pull values from RotoWire. So I would pay RotoWire premium to get those auction values, which was nice. But hey, if Fantrax can do it, Fantrax, let it do its thing. Now there's a scale on the salaries where if you set it to 1, it's absolutely impossible to make a super team. If you set it on 99, it is very, very easy to create a super team. So if you had it on 1, Ohtani's contract is like $200 million. And then if you have it on 99, Ohtani's contract is like $17 million. So it's very easy to stack up players the higher that number is on that. Right now, I think we're at 55, which I've run the mocks and it looks good. It looks good, and not everybody's gonna be picking an ADP in this particular draft. I mean, I hope you do. Not everybody's gonna be picking an ADP. You think Judge is going second? Not in the Rollins draft. You know who I'm taking? I'm taking Witt. Give me Witt. That's easy. That's easy. I'm not taking Judge. Judge is great. Judge is probably going to go 9th or 10th. It is a dynasty. Now, some owners are going to love it that all the older vets are going to just be falling. You got to be careful. Got to watch that salary. They're going to fall for a reason. I hope somebody drafts Anthony Rendon. I really do. I really do. So I've talked about the contracts. Year one is a fixed salary. You're going to have the 50% cap hit if you drop them. And year one is fully guaranteed. So year one and year two, fully guaranteed. And if you drop, they will have cap hits. Year three is not guaranteed. This contract is not guaranteed. So you can drop a person in year three with no cap penalty. We will see. Maybe those third years are used in trades. I've got an expiring contract that I'll trade you this guy for this and this and this. And you're going to see some salary dumps. In the salary leagues, you're going to see some salary dumps. That's just the nature of the game. As long as you can get something back, a couple draft picks, I'm going to get off of this salary. Hey, that's whatever it takes. It's like all the NBA teams that were trying to trade Westbrook away. They had to give up a first to get off of that deal. You're gonna just see some trades that wouldn't normally be done in a regular league just because of the salaries. Let's talk about the free agent pickups. So I think I did. Let's see. The Kike example. I don't think it's on this stupid AI. Probably took it off. So let's say you have a free agent. Now all free agents are going to be listed as 2026 on the waiver wire, right? These guys are all going to be at $2 million because after the draft, all the free agent salaries are going to go to $2 million, unless people are dropped and their salaries higher or lower, whatever the case may be. But contract status of 2026, these are free agents. There's no cap penalty. You can pick them up and drop them. You can stream. However, whatever you want to do with those players. Now, say you picked up a good player and he's balling, right? You want to sign this guy to an extension. You can at the re-sign deadline every year at the trade deadline, right after the trade deadline. I'm going to run new values for all the players that you picked up. So let's say Kike is going to be $8 million for Kike. And you want to give him an extension. You can. And then that extension will kick in next year. So you can still ride with him this year at the $2 million. Next year will be $8 million. Or you cannot re-sign him and he's just going to fall off your team at the end of the year and go back to the Fab is pretty easy to understand, right? $200 of bidding. So you bid on players. It's a blind bid. Trading, you got to post your trade in the chat, and you got to post. If you're cutting people, it just helps me as a commissioner to keep up with the spreadsheet. We're all going to have a spreadsheet. So if you make a trade, you need to announce that. If you make a cut, that's somebody that's on a contract, I need to know so I can, take it off the spreadsheet. It's just easier to keep up with. Yeah, I mean, I that's pretty much. I don't know what else to kind of talk with on the bylaws. It's pretty self-explanatory. We did have a trade that happened. We had Mr. Iron Fisting He traded 1.01, the number one overall draft pick and a 6th-round startup draft pick to Paladins, the Philadelphia Paladins, for 2.5, 4.5, 7.10, and 8.5. Paying a lot. I hope Brandon's trading up to go get Bobby Witt at number one. But we all know it's Ohtani. I don't know why you're giving up that much. You're getting Ohtani. You got to be getting Ohtani. And iron fisting. I mean, if I'm doing that, I'm gonna take what Fisting got, because he's got he's got 10 picks in the first 10 rounds, first 100 players. I mean, he's gonna be creating a big team, a deep team. Now, who he drafts with those players, that's another. We don't know yet, but just from looking at that, I mean, I love Ohtani. I should have kept 1.1. I should have kept first overall, but I sacrificed for my boy. I sacrificed for my team. I sacrificed for the league. I didn't want y'all to think I was cheating. When I got 1.1, and when I got the first overall, I was like, fuck me. Fuck me. They ain't gonna know I'm cheating. Dodger fan, commissioner, gets the first overall. Yeah. That's all right. Okay, I'll take 14. Give me the last pick in the draft. Oh. Yeah, but it's going to be a fun league. It's going to be a really fun league. We're going to be doing, another thing. Let's go ahead and talk about the postseason. Probably the coolest part of this league is how the postseason format is. And this league is cool because I've incorporated a lot of, it's kind of like the food truck. If I had a food truck, it'd be like a fusion of cultures, right? Well, this league is like a fusion of sports. So the playoffs are going to be set up just like the NBA play-in game. Play-in's going to run. It's just going to be a single elimination, but it's going to be great. The top 10 teams of each side, top 10 of Tops, top 10 of Rawlings. They're going to make the playoffs. Now, seeds 7 through 10 are going to play first in the wild card rounds to see if they can actually get to the main bracket. So maybe a 10 seed makes a run and gets in. Great. Or maybe they're like, you know what? I'm just going to lose, because I know if I lose, I'm going to fall down to the lotto bracket. The lotto bracket, the 14th place team is going to get 6 balls, lottery balls, automatically. So if you finish 14th, you're going to have 6 lottery balls automatically. If you're the 13th place team, you got 5 balls. The 12th team, 4 balls. The 11th team, 3 balls. The 10th team, you're going to get 1. So if you're the 7th team and you lose on purpose, which you can, that's a strategy you want to take. You can lose on purpose in the wild card round, so you fall down, but you're not going to start out with any lottery balls. You're going to have to win. There's going to be a bracket. And, the 14th place and 13th place team, the worst teams in the league, are going to have a bye. Those teams are only going to have to win once to get into the championship. But, you're going to have to win that bracket. And maybe you will. Maybe you won't. You never know. And at the end, you add up all the lottery balls, and that's how we will determine the draft order, at least for the first, 6, 7 pick. So that's cool. There's always something to play for. Always something to play for. And if you trade for that 14th place's first rounder, that's going to be fun too, because you're going to be, you're going to be rooting, because you at least got 5 lotto balls in the lottery, at least. So there's always something to play for, because in most leagues, When you're out of it, you're out of it. You're not even paying attention to the site anymore. Like, who cares? Not in this league. Always something to play for. So that's always fun. That's always fun. Yeah, it's going to be a fun league. There's a lot of different bells and whistles to this league that are pretty cool. But when you just get used to the league, it's pretty simple. It's nothing, you know. It's nothing crazy. Now we got some football coming on in a couple hours. Very excited for. I'm very excited for my Denver Broncos. Everybody's doubting us. They've been doubting us all year. We're used to it. We're used to it. It's calling for snow in Denver, and I don't know if that's going to be better for the backup quarterback situation. Denver does not have a running game, at least since J.K. Dobbins has gone down. Denver needs to get some type of running game going in this game. And I do want to stop for a second for some of our sponsors. Today, our podcast is sponsored by Psychedelic Rabbit. If you haven't tried this IPA, it's at your local grocery stores, maybe. We need to feed our heads. So first beer of the day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to start pre-gaming for this Denver Broncos. And it was funny that Drake May, I think the stat was the EPA, most explosive plays average. He has more explosive plays than any quarterback this year, but he also has the most sacks taken, which is, you kind of don't see that. However, the Denver Broncos lead the league in sacks by a huge margin. That's going to be interesting, especially if there's going to be, if it's 10 degrees in Denver right now. If you're playing some DFS, you know, Harvey might catch 10 balls today. He might. Evan Ingram. Nobody might pick up Evan Ingram. Nobody's going to be playing Evan Ingram. You know, I don't blame you for not playing Evan Ingram, but I think today might be a good day to pick up Evan Ingram. So we're going to see how Denver comes out, but it should be good. And the Rams are going to win just because I said so. The Rams are going to win. But hey, I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you for joining the league. It's going to be a good year. It's going to be a good year. We're going to have the DynastyDicks pod breaking down the draft, mock drafts coming up. You know, we're going to be going live during the draft. I hope you guys join in on some of these podcasts so we can talk strategies. Hey, it's going to be a lot of fun. So I appreciate you guys watching. I hope I answered some of the questions. Probably not. I probably confused everybody even more. However, it's okay. The bylaws are there. If anybody has any questions, I'm always here to answer anybody's questions. Stay warm out there. My driveway's fucked. The whole streets are fucked. Nobody's going anywhere. I don't think I'm going anywhere for a couple days. A couple days here. But everybody, thank you for tuning in to DynastyDicks. And as always, remind your fellow league mates how much better of a fantasy owner you are. Y'all take care.